Recording started. So we got Chef Jason here in the kitchen. Chef Scotty is not here today, but the food is he still did provide the meals for us. That's catering by Scott. We got in our giant eagle kitchen back there. And today was you making chicken? Was that mango salsa and couscous?
A
Papaya.
Papaya. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Papaya salsa. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, guys, that's all for me. I will let you guys have it to give us the good meal and the nutritional info from Chef Jason and our dietitian Michelle. Thank you, guys.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes. Welcome everyone who is joining us tonight. As Lakeisha said, my name is Chef Jason. If this is your first time, first and foremost, we do appreciate Chef Scott, Catering by Scott, who has provided your meal. If you were able to come and pick that up from us this evening, to enjoy and taste and see.
Oh, there we go.
Taste and great one with the weather shift. Hopefully we're moving into spring here. That this is a great fresh dish, light, that you can make for any occasion or for a great weeknight dinner meal. Not have to worry about it compromising wellness journey. Some nice fresh fruit. It's going to go with this dish, and of course a nice that we're going to be able to do with this. It's going to be low fat. It's going to be nice high in proteins and some other great nutrients that Michelle will be able to let us know on what all is in this dish. But it's very, very, very simple that anybody can do to create this dish at home. And then you let us know, those of you picked up a meal, let us know how you're enjoying it or how you enjoyed it. And the recipes will be on the website, so you can duplicate this recipe right at home if you enjoy it tonight.
It's very good.
It sounded really good. I'm kind of jealous that everybody's got dinner.
Very good.
I have some mahi. I'm like, this would be like a perfect substitute instead of chicken to do the mahi that I have tonight.
Language. I love mahi. So about this is that this dish and most recipes you can kind of make it your own. So mahi I need to use up. So you can use mahi or a salmon or so. In the techniques, and I say this all the time, then you can definitely recreate this in any way that is for you and your household. So the first things first, I want to go ahead and make the couscous because that's just going to be the base of this. Very simple. People are intimidated by even cooking any, but they're easier than you think. I was going to say, if you can cook rice, you can cook anything, but I know people even in my own family that say that they still can't cook a good pot of rice. I always give some really quick, easy tips that'll help you, whether it's rice, whether it's quinoa, or whether it's couscous, which couscous is technically a pasta. So it's not technically a grain like quinoa. It is a pasta. So it's very small, but it is a pasta type of dish. But it's easy to make any of these because it all starts off in one, what you're cooking it in. Two, if anybody has watched any of these or been to any of the classes I've done in the last several years, you know that anytime I'm cooking pasta, quinoa, rice, anything like that, I always cook it in a broth, whether it's chicken broth or a vegetable broth, because any type of thing that has the ability to absorb, it's going to absorb whatever it's cooking in, and that's what's going to flavor it. So if you cook it in water, then yes, it's going to be hard to flavor that. But to infuse flavor as that liquid now is able to absorb into your grains, it's going to take on that flavor. So I usually use, like tonight, vegetable broth. So that's going to infuse, and that's going to give, and so you don't have to worry about a lot of extra sodium in the to give it flavor because you're infusing flavor. I always put a clove of garlic in my broth because now that's another layer of flavor. Or if you have a bay leaf, put a bay leaf in your broth as you're heating your broth up, whether you're cooking rice or quinoa or even this couscous. Those are different flavor agents. So now you can that sense, because you don't need a lot of salt. Now there is a little bit, I didn't add a lot because the broth already has some sodium in it, but just a little bit in this broth and a little olive oil to keep everything from sticking. And I use the same method, like I said, whether I'm doing quinoa, rice, or any nature. I'm going to put that in there. That's going to add flavor to it. So the thing about quinoa, it cooks faster than you think. It doesn't take a long period of time like rice or quinoa. Couscous, because it's very, very small, it doesn't take a whole lot for it to absorb. That's why I have my broth already at a boil. So it's already at a boil. And at that point, what I have to do now is just add my couscous, give it a good stir. And to be honest, add my back to it.
Okay.
Chef
Yeah,
Jason,
Yes.
I have a question. I happen to be one of those people who can murderize rice. What if I'm using a rice cooker? Can I still put the chicken broth in? And what
Yes.
about the garlic?
Yes, you can still do that same thing in your rice cooker. You know, to be honest, even as a chef, I've never used a rice cooker.
Sure.
I mean, nothing against that. I just never have, I guess, had the privilege of using one.
It's a
Because
good,
I'll be honest, before I went to culinary school, I murdered rice. Couldn't get rice to cook right for anything. But so after culinary school, it's not even what I learned in culinary school. Afterwards, I learned these different tricks and tips to make a good rice or a good pilaf, quinoa or so forth. Who didn't actually teach me this? Just a lot of
Okay.
trial and error and just kind of learning and figuring things out. And this is just what happens to work. And I think the biggest thing is that most people, they cook it too long, or they do this.
Yes.
keep looking.
They
Yeah.
want to keep, and the thing is, we have to learn to allow the food to do what it does. I say this for anything, cooking anything, let the food, trust the food to do what it does. We get anxious and for the
Mhm.
come to a boil. I've turned it off. I have this on there. Now you're creating a steam effect that's going to finish cooking this. And this couscous is going to just cook up. It's going to absorb all that hot liquid into those granules and fluff up on its own.
Thank you.
With rice, it's about the right measurements. It's usually about a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 parts liquid to 1 part rice. And you want to make sure that you have a little bit of olive oil in there to keep any sticking, and you don't want to agitate it because that also helps to release extra starch that you don't want to. So sometimes you'll see, rinse off your rice or so forth. Sometimes that, but what helped those small. I'm gonna move it, and to be honest,
Hey, Chef,
practically
you're cutting out
done.
really bad.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out, Jason.
Yeah, I think the other mic is out there. Darlene said out there. Technical difficulties, guys. Don't worry, we have a second mic on deck.
There
Ready
you
for
go.
'em.
Yeah. I think that's the one interesting thing because when we think about couscous, it's not something that we traditionally use. It's more, more of an Eastern type of option that you will see. So we have to kind of mistaken that it's a grain, but it's actually just like that pasta. So it's very comparable from a nutrition profile that we would do with spaghetti and whatnot. So it's not necessarily as high in fiber as like quinoa or barley. But it's definitely gives you new textures to play around with. And sometimes we just need that as something a little different too.
You guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I was saying my couscous, it's probably only been in here for a minute and it's technically almost done. Once it came to boil, couscous takes maybe about 8 minutes and 8 to 10 minutes, if that. And most of those has just been making sure it comes to a boil, your liquid. Because once you add it in, turn it off, it probably takes 2 minutes for it to absorb and fluff. And then all I'm going to do is take a fork and kind of just fluff it from there. Done. easiest thing you can make. And as Michelle said, it's not a grain like quinoa or anything like that. It is a pasta. So Michelle, you said that it doesn't have, of course, as much fiber as those other options.
Right,
So
yeah.
If you are needing fiber, then you can definitely switch this out and use quinoa or brown rice. You can definitely do that. You don't have to use couscous, but we just wanted to show you at least another option.
Absolutely. It's always nice to get in a couple different grains, but they're still great sources of your B vitamins, and we need that for an energy source too. So nothing wrong with couscous every once in a while, that's for sure.
Every once in a while, that's the key to it. Every
Yeah.
once in a while.
Yeah,
Like anything we
absolutely.
say, all things in moderation.
Yeah, we can't eliminate everything out, that's for sure.
Because then we'd all be dull. All work and no play.
Exactly. That's no fun.
So we're going to now get ready to prepare the chicken. Like I said, which is simple. So I'm going to start off, I have my pan heating over here. We're going to start off with, I'm going to julienne these onions because I want to create different kind of texture in this. You can dice it easily, whatever's you're comfortable with. I'm just going to julienne these.
Yeah, and I know in the recipe, once it's posted, we say to use olive oil or even considering avocado oil.
Yes.
So whatever you guys have in your pantry, but you just know that avocado can kind of stand the heat a little bit more than our traditional olive oil option.
And really, yeah, avocado oil would probably be best because like you said, it does have a better value. But if you can't, because it does have a higher price point than most other oils, if you can't get that, a good grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Grapeseed oil is very good. It has a high smoke point. So you can almost do anything with grapeseed oil. I mean, even if you, God forbid, no, if you wanted to fry something or even pan fry something or anything like that, grapeseed oil can handle that because it can handle a high smoke point. And it doesn't have any like extra flavor, any type of other flavor notes to it, like some of your olive oils and things like that. You can't use olive oil with everything. I know some recipes are like olive oil. Well, technically, olive oil doesn't have a high smoke point at all. And if it burns, it's going to be a bitter taste. So I just suggest that kind of keep olive oil and like grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil can be your all-purpose oil per se, and it's cleaner. All right, so I got some julienne onions, and my pan is hot, my oil is hot. We'll add those in here. We like the sound of that sizzle, sizzle. And while that's going, we have some chicken breast. And I got some thin cut chicken breast because, you know, chicken breast these days,
Yes.
they can be a little intimidating.
Yeah, they can feed the whole family with just one.
Right. And even if you do have, because I'll be honest, you will maybe, it'll cost you a little more to kind of maybe get thin slice or so. If you have just a regular chicken breast, go ahead and cut that. You can cut that, almost butterfly it, and you can, in a sense, take one breast and make 2 servings. So if it is pretty thick, just cut it right down the middle, right across the middle, and now you have 2 chicken breasts, and they'll cook up a little bit more even if you're done that way. So that's another reason why I like these thin slice ones, because they're able to cook up nice and evenly, and it doesn't take forever for them to cook. So I'm just putting a little salt and pepper on these, and then we're going to have some other seasonings and other flavors to go with this. So I've seasoned that, and we're going to break down our fruits that are going with this. And our onions in there. And I don't have this, I'm not trying to caramelize them. We're just trying to soften them, make them tender. So you don't want your heat up too high. You're not making caramelized onions. So it's like a medium low per se, just to translucent or clear, soften. So we have our papaya here, and everybody always sees the middle of that papaya, and it kind of could freak you out. Of course, those are the seeds of the papaya. just like if you open up a cantaloupe or any other type of melon, you're going to have that in there. And I just usually take a spoon and just scrape those out. Now, you could be like my daughter, who wants me to save all the seeds of anything, and so she can plant them.
For the garden. It's almost time, guys, to start
Yes.
planting, getting our seeds out, start planting.
They're not edible or cookable.
Not that I've ever been made aware of, Anne. How about
yeah,
you, Chef?
Yeah, I don't think so. I have never heard of them being edible.
Oh, yeah.
We ate our papaya seeds. We even put them in with our smoothies.
Oh, you
Papaya
do?
seeds?
Yes, they have a lot of flavoring in them.
Oh,
Interesting. Okay.
The only thing you can't eat is the peeling.
Fair enough. We'll
Good to
all
know.
learn something new tonight, guys.
so I'm just gonna break this down so I can chunk it, and I've just got it to where it's easy and manageable, and I'm gonna cut. I have this flat, I have my knife flat, so that I can just cut that skin right off and just have the meat. Now, you could do, another way is to peel this with a peeler, like a potato peeler, and peel off that skin or cut off the skin, and then have it, and then work the middle of it that way. And then we're just gonna chunk, small chunks.
Yeah, so papaya isn't probably something that we do on a regular basis. We have to be a little more conscious of purchasing it. But with it being orange inside, as you can kind of see already, it's a good source of vitamin C and vitamin A, as well as potassium and folate. And some of the benefits within papaya is that it actually has some enzymes in it that can break down proteins. So this would be a great way to tenderize your meats
Mhm.
with fruit, but it's also good even for a digestive system process for our stomachs as well. So something a little bit to help with aid in the digestion process, but the enzyme is papain. So just something else to kind of can think about the benefits of the papaya itself.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So we'll put our chicken breasts in there.
Are we papaya eaters? I would love to know how many.
We have some ground cumin, and I love this flavor profile because it's going to be warm. It's going to hit up really nice up against the flavor of the papaya and the pineapple, which is light and refreshing. You have these nice warm notes with the coriander. We have ground coriander, cumin, of course, paprika. But if anybody knows me, it's
That's
not just regular paprika. But this is a great, I mean, I even think of this as a really great summer dish too, that you could put on the grill and make this too. I think it would be really great and refreshing. Little ground ginger, which I know a lot of people don't, Michelle, kind of ginger doesn't get that a good play, but the benefits of ginger or ground ginger, but ginger period.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, and just in general, everybody, there's a lot of research, and it's on the younger side with looking at all of the different spices. So just some touching points on ginger. Some things, obviously, from a medicinal point, it's used for nausea. So if we think about we're having an upset stomach, ginger ale. It's not necessarily the actual bubbles of the soda, but actually the ginger in it. But it has some anti-inflammatory properties too. So they're looking at research to help with different things like rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, just overall muscle and joint pain. So it's definitely an option to kind of pull in from a diet perspective and use a little bit more often too. So definitely a lot of things, even from our heart health and diabetes perspective, to help with blood sugars, but also to help with lowering that bad cholesterol, that LDL number.
So ginger helps with, I know it helps with inflammation, but you're saying it also helps cut cholesterol and joint issues.
Right. So the joint piece is kind of coming from that anti-inflammatory piece.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, absolutely. So it's just it's on the younger side when it comes to the cholesterol piece, but there was a couple different studies that said about a 3-gram supplement of ginger over 45 days actually improved the lipid panel of 45 people that did already have high cholesterol.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's actually good to know.
Yeah. So
I knew like the inflammation, and then it's good if you have any type of stomach issues. It helps.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. What are some other ways to use ginger? I'll use it if it's ground, but ginger is really potent, and I'm sure a lot of people
It is.
would agree with that. So it's definitely a powerful root that we.
And there's nothing like fresh ginger too, but of course, if you don't have it, that ground ginger is always available. But
Mhm.
you can use ginger for all kinds of stuff. I know even people who put it in their tea,
Yes.
just
yes,
a little
that's
piece
true.
of ginger root in their
Mhm.
tea, so it's able to get it in that way.
This is a pasta. I thought it was a rice.
Yeah. So yeah, and then just to highlight the paprika that I know that you love and use often.
I'm going to give it to you.
Just some things to kind of think about that. They're looking at the different carotenoids
Mm-hmm.
from the paprika, because remember it's going to have that spicy piece from the different
They're saying
peppers that
when you cook
they're
it,
using
cook it in
it. So
vegetable broth or chicken broth, and always put some
I know some different
oil
ways
in
to
there.
use that.
A little bit of olive oil. And they said instead of using olive oil, you're better off to use grapeseed oil.
All right, we're going to fabricate a
Ginger cuts down your cholesterol.
easy way. Shameless plug with Giant Eagle right now. Pineapples are on sale for 99 cents. So go definitely get some pineapples for this dish or any other, just for a snack, or any other dish that you want to make, a nice pineapple salsa to go with a fish dish or anything of that. Put it in smoothies. But hey, you can't beat 99 cents a pineapple. So you might want to go make sure you get some of those. I'm just cutting this down. And the way I fabricate a pineapple is I usually cut the top and bottom off, because everybody's like, how do you get the core out? The other day, my wife was cutting up the pineapple, and I could tell that she didn't get the core out. And I said, it's real easy, easier than you think. Is that I usually will cut the top and bottom off, and then take my knife just right along the skin on all sides, but cut as much of the eye. You're not going to get all what we call the eyes, the brown spots, or it's called the eyes. You may not get all of them off, but as much as you can. And then once you're looking at that pineapple, the core is usually a little darker in the center. And I usually just cut down the side, each side of that. So I have 4 sides that I'm able to cut off of that pineapple, and then you're able to chunk it or do whatever you want to do with it from that point. So what I'm going to do here, I have my pineapple.
So does the core in the pineapple go from the top to the bottom in the middle?
Yes.
And it's like how hard as a rock, because I've cut a pineapple.
You're right. It's hard as a rock. Now, don't throw that core away, because you know what I usually do with that core?
What?
Especially if you're not a big water drinker.
You can flavor.
Cut some pieces down and put it in your water.
Okay.
And now you have an infused flavored water. And Michelle, pineapples, they give us, what do they give us? So you're able to get that with some water.
Yeah, no, we can definitely get some vitamin C again. Obviously, it actually has a couple of things like the papaya for digestion pieces or per se. And then also from a cancer piece, bromelain is found in the pineapple, and they're just looking at the effects of that on specific cancers of like stomach and colon cancer, just to see how that can kind of help, because it actually kind of breaks down that abnormal cell, so we can have a natural fighter with that too.
Yeah, don't waste that core, because you're still able to get some great nutrients, especially people that don't like to drink water, or it's hard for you to get a lot of water in. Infuse it with some fruits and even herbs. Like I made a strawberry basil water before, or orange, mint, lime,
Mint,
or
yeah.
cucumber, lime, mint water, or anything like that. So these are the top things you can start thinking of as the weather's changing and you want something nice and refreshing, but you don't want to feel guilty about it. Those are
Mhm.
ways that you can infuse those things in it.
Yeah, definitely a quick, easy way, and it'll stay in the fridge for a good while too.
Yeah.
And it'll just enhance the flavor the longer it's there.
So I've added my papaya and pineapple. Yeah, I know you're like, well, that's fruit and you're heating it. But if you ever had a grilled pineapple, you know
Oh, yes.
that you're just really bringing out some of the natural sugars in this fruit. And Michelle, I heard you mention earlier, even with the papaya, it helps to tenderize.
Mhm.
So that's it's flavoring, it's tenderizing. Pineapple juice has that type of a little bit of acidity too. That's able to
Sure.
do that. So this is just really all coming together with those onions that are caramelizing in there,
Mhm.
and all that. So you're not hurting anything at all. And it'll all come together. You got those nice warm spices, the ginger. They play off well with the papaya and the pineapple, the
Mhm.
coriander, all those nice. So this is a tropical. I mean, it's getting us ready for summer, guys.
Yeah, we are definitely in the tropics tonight, that's for sure. Well, and I think because I think we're used to using like a mango and doing like a cold salsa when it comes to this type of feel. So I was excited to see the papaya instead.
Yes, most definitely. And if you can't find a papaya, you know, you mentioned that if you can't find a papaya, you can definitely use a mango. But
Yeah.
you know, using a papaya is just going to give us a little bit of a difference to this whole dish. I
Mhm.
think that's the biggest thing is just to try something different, add some different notes, and as Michelle mentioned, some of those great nutritional value that the papaya is going to add to this.
What kind of paprika is that?
Smoked paprika is what I use. You can get you can get it from Giant Eagle.
Yeah.
It is a specialty, especially if you go to the one up here in Upper Arlington. They actually have little pouches of smoked paprika that you can get. I actually had a friend of mine to bring me some back from the Middle East.
Oh,
Yeah, some
nice.
smoked paprika, but I love smoked paprika. I couldn't tell you the last time I've used regular paprika. Because I use any recipe that calls for it, or even if it doesn't call for paprika, I'm probably going to add smoked paprika to it. I put it on my eggs, I put it in my chicken, whatever. I'm going to add smoked paprika to it any way I can.
Mhm.
So that's all nice and there. Our fruits have nice and caramelized in this. Our chicken is pretty much done. Our last bit here, we're going to add a little bit of yogurt. Now, the recipe says a good non-dairy yogurt would be good.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, John Eagle I went to did not have any plain non-dairy yogurt, so I'm just using a plain Greek yogurt to
Just
still
kinda put
add some really
together.
great depth and creaminess to this. So almost like a cream sauce, but we're using yogurt, so without the guilt.
There you go. Yeah, and then obviously some dairy alternatives to a traditional Greek yogurt would be almond or even cashew. You'll see those options available in more of and even with the vanilla is what we kind of even suggested in the recipe if you're going to do non-dairy, just to give it again a little bit of sweetness, but you could also do just a plain as well.
Because I would have actually, if I could have found a plain coconut yogurt, not
Ooh,
flavored,
that would have,
but
yeah.
one that it's a non-dairy made out of coconut milk, that
Mhm.
would have just really complemented this extremely well. So
Yeah.
I'm just adding that in, stir that around, just lightly. Doesn't take much because everything's warm, it's hot, it's all melding together. And if you didn't notice, over here off on the side, I didn't put all of my pineapple and papaya in the dish because then I'm going to kind of make a little salsa on the
garnish.
side, so we can top it with so you kind of have it in there twice. It's warmed within the dish, but then it'll be kind of a cold salsa on top that you can, what I call, garnish it with. So add a little bit of cilantro in there.
Mhm.
A little bit of salt. That helps bring out flavor. And our dish is ready to come together. I mean, this took no time at all. It's flavorful. It's got some good nutrients, and it took no time at all. So if I was to plate this up in my Bob Ross cooking world,
Right.
So we could cook it in coconut oil. That would give it coconut flavoring.
yes, it would. You
Oh,
could
yeah.
definitely use some coconut oil.
Mm-hmm.
Now my couscous is already nice and fluffy. What I'm going to do is to add a little bit more flavor to my couscous is I have a little bit of lemon. Or if you have a lime, you could squeeze a little bit of lime juice or lime zest or lemon zest in here. That's going to brighten up your couscous. So now you have multiple layers of flavor. We'll take our couscous. We'll discard the garlic clove. Just going to put this on the bottom here of our platter. So I was serving this to a couple of people.
Now, Jason, did you do a 2-to-1 ratio with the couscous, just like you would rice?
Yep.
Okay.
What do you mean by 2-to-1?
So there's usually a 2-to-1 ratio of liquid to, like, for instance, if it was rice, that's
Okay.
what. So when I say 2-to-1, depending on how much you're trying to make or use, I should say. So for instance, if I was using, just for simple math, 1 cup of rice or couscous, then I would cook it in 2 cups of liquid
Okay.
because you realize it's going to expand.
And you put the garlic in with the couscous when you were cooking it.
Yes. I just
But
put a
the
clove.
lemon you add after.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take my chicken breast. And in your world, because I grew up on Bob Ross and I used to watch Joy of Painting when I grew up, like all my life. So I always remember him saying, and maybe in your world, you have a nice little tree over here. Well, now that I'm a chef, this is my palette. This is my painting palette. And so maybe in your world, you have that nice and centered. We'll put that down. Got some of our fresh salsa. Nice brightness to it.
Did you put the yogurt in your fresh salsa too?
No, I did not.
Just in the
Just
cooked
in-
part with the chicken?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll take a sprig of cilantro here.
Wendy, he just took it out. He just separated the garlic clove. Do you do anything else after you use the garlic clove in cooking? You
Nope.
discard it.
Yep, you discard it at that point. Yeah, I took out the clove.
Rather than wasting it, what could you do with it?
Well, I mean, you could save it and use it for another, or you could puree it up and use it for something else that you were going to need garlic, because it's only been cooking in broth. So
we could use minced garlic.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep, you could use minced garlic.
Jason, it was very good. Is there seconds?
Looks really pretty.
Beautiful.
Looks
Now-
delicious.
We had some greens with ours. Where's your greens on there?
You had
Can we have
a,
spinach?
you had a
Oh,
We had
spinach
spinach.
salad?
oh
guys
yeah,
had
they had spinach as a side as well.
Oh, yeah.
How
That's
did you
just
do
a,
this?
that's just a way to show you what you could serve with it. So whether it's spinach or some broccoli or broccolini, I would probably have broccolini. I love
Broccolini
broccolini
would be nice. Yeah.
with it. So very simple. I mean, you guys,
Nope,
once you get to
gross.
pull up the recipe, you should be able, and as I just showed you, very easy to do. If you're kind of intimidated about breaking down the pineapple or the papaya, most of your local grocery stores, you can probably find them already cut up for you. It will cost a little more because you've paid somebody else to do the fabrication for you. That's anything. A lot of those prepared, pre-chopped, pre-diced, whatever, pre-sliced things, you're going to pay more because you just paid for the labor. So if you can, always try to, any fresh produce that you can do yourself is going to save you in cost. And may cost you a little more time, but it'll save you in your pockets. So
I
What about-
asked at Aldi's. Aldi's doesn't sell papaya. I don't know what store does.
I got mine right at Giant Eagle.
Yeah, there's a traditional grocer as well. And we have a lot of diverse groceries too. There's one on Morris Road that I go to. They always have papaya.
What about using canned pineapple and canned papaya?
Yeah, just drain them well, or honestly, the liquid actually won't hurt once you put that in there with the chicken.
What happened?
It'll actually help. So,
No, there we go.
there we go.
So how did you make the spinach? It was very good.
Well, I'd have to ask Chef Scott who made that, but I'm sure it was just a quick saute, maybe with some garlic, salt, and pepper.
Yeah, quick
It
and
had
easy.
some other flavoring in it.
Oh, well, then I'm not sure actually then.
I was thinking more like maybe a lemon or something, because, or maybe the chicken flavoring got onto the spinach.
And
Or
that
the
might
lemon
be,
from the couscous might have got on the spinach.
and there might have been a little, because that's always good to do, even with like a spinach or so, or even a broccoli, is once you finish it, is to finish it with a little bit of fresh lemon juice or lemon zest, because that helps. Lemon or any citrus always helps to brighten up a dish. It always helps to kind of bring out another layer of flavor. So that could definitely be possible.
Hey, Jason,
Yes,
did that meal had onion, the one we picked up?
yes. Sorry, Irene.
That's okay. I'll give it to Angelica. I didn't think she signed up.
So what was in the dressing? It was a very strange dressing.
In the salad.
Yeah, the dressing for the salad.
Yeah, that's a Chef Scott thing. That's what he added to the meal.
Yeah, he switched it up on us. He gave us a little vinaigrette. I liked it. Did you guys like it?
I loved it.
Everybody said
Yes.
it was good.
It was
Yeah.
just different.
Yeah, it was. But
Catering by
Good.
Scott, they make a lot of great their own vinaigrettes and so in house. So
Okay.
that was an addition to make a complete meal for you guys today. We were just wanting to demo the main entree, and to make it a complete meal, we wanted to add the spinach and the salad.
yeah.
So those are almost bonuses.
Right.
But we're glad that you enjoy all of it because they're adding to your wellness. They're adding to your journey of health. So
Right.
those great vegetables, however, and however they prepared, we appreciate that you enjoy them. And you're having a great complete meal, and we're able to share together. So that's what this is all about. That's why we call it a community type of meal, because you get to watch it being cooked, but you also get to enjoy it. So we in a sense are all enjoying it together.
Hey, Jason, I didn't see what you did with the pie and pineapple. I came in late, sorry.
Oh, we added it to the pan with the papaya and the chicken.
Oh, I see, okay.
Mhm.
That makes it sweet then.
Yes, you're right. And we mentioned that when you heat or you cook fruit like that, it helps to release a lot of the natural sugars in that.
Thank you, Chef Jason,
Yes,
Michelle, and
appreciate
staff.
You're welcome.
Michelle.
Thank you so much. We're glad everybody was able to enjoy.
Mhm.
Thank
It
you
was
very
more
much.
than-
It was very good.
It was more than enjoy. It was
Even
very.
better. Good.
Well, you have to join us next month. That's May. The second Thursday in May, we'll have a really great dish. It'll be a caprese chicken dish.
Okay.
So it's going to be really good, kind of almost an Italian. That'll be nice and light, full of nutrients, of course. Really flavorful dish. So you guys will really enjoy that one. So join us back then, same time. You'll be able to pick it up and enjoy it at home as you watch us prepared here at 6 o'clock.